Might as well just get started then. All right. I think I already screwed it up. Turned off the sound when I switched the input on the back end. How you guys doing? My name is Steve. The show is called Wake Up America. It's your evening dose into the news that you wish you didn't have to listen to. Or something like that, right? I don't know. That's nice. But yeah, today's going to be an interesting one. Got a lot of news for you. A lot to unpack. As always, this show is sponsored by, I got the side right, by Spartan Armor Systems. You can see their link up there. Spartan Armor Systems is your leading provider of body armor. They're a manufacturer based out of Arizona, and they have sponsored this show every episode because they are awesome. I have some of their gear back here. I got one of their hats right here. Very, very cool company. Check them out at SpartanArmorSystems.com and use code YEET. That's YEET, YEET, to get 10% off your order site-wide. So that's 10% off of everything. I mean, that's amazing. It's an amazing deal. But yeah, check them out. Seriously, they're a great company, huge supporters of our show and our whole brand, actually, and what we're doing. So please check them out because they rock. They rock. All right, you guys ready to get into this today? I'm not sure. Are you guys ready? I'm not sure if you're ready. We have a lot of stories, but I got a fancy. Nah, shit, didn't work. Why didn't it work? Ready? Ha! Look at that. Fancy stuff. All right. So I guess this has to stay open in order for that to actually work the way it's supposed to. Anyway, there's been a huge earthquake, 5.9 on the Richter scale. The United States Geological Services registered 2 earthquakes that rocked Central California on Thursday afternoon. And actually, there's been a number of earthquakes, smaller ones, all the way down from Alaska today. And we'll talk about some of those. But the first, which was a 5.9 magnitude quake, hit around 3:49 p.m. on the east side of the Sierra Nevada mountain range near the town of Walker. That's like North Lake Tahoe area, almost by like Reno, possibly. So they were feeling the aftershocks, or they actually felt the actual earthquake in Sacramento as well. And then a second earthquake, a 4.8 magnitude earthquake, struck seconds later southeast of Stockton. And I actually think that that may have been updated to the people in Stockton, just south of Stockton, which is in the Sacramento area, that they were feeling the earthquake from the North Lake Tahoe one. But again, not really sure. Actually, it looks like the epicenter that I'm showing on my screen is a bit south of Tahoe. Like you see that big lake right there in the middle of your screen. That's Tahoe. So I guess this was south. But I heard there were some damages out there. Again, our news article says that California's Governor's Office of Emergency Services wrote on Twitter, while there are no preliminary reports of damage or injuries, this is a rapidly evolving situation and more details will emerge in the coming hours. Now, on Twitter, I've seen some reports of damage. No pictures, though. So it makes me think that it's people freaking out. So who knows what it is or whether there's actual damage or not. But these are some big earthquakes. And in total, there were a ton of earthquakes today. Excuse me. They had the 5.9 one that we just discussed, the 4.8 one that we just discussed. A short time later, there was a 3.4 magnitude earthquake near Walker. At 3:58, there was a 3.1 magnitude near Colville. At 3:59, there was another 4.2 magnitude near Marklesville. And then a few minutes later, there was another one at 3.7. Now, those could have been aftershocks or the shocks. The way the local news was reporting it is they reported it as 6 separate earthquakes. Now, I know there was one that started off this morning in Alaska that was like a 1.8, I believe. So it's interesting. We'll have to wait and see. California's kind of prone to these types of things. And it's weird. You got earthquakes on one side of the country and tropical storms and tornadoes ravishing the other side of the country. I think one person's been killed, over a dozen injured in the tropical storms that have been ravishing the East Coast, including, I guess there was a tornado that struck down near, I don't know if it was in Pensacola. See, that's the thing. The news was weird this morning. So it was talking about how there was a tornado that came down and it ripped through an RV park. And at least a dozen people were injured as that, but it was talking about that it was at a naval station. So I'm not sure, maybe it was Georgia or Pensacola and there's a naval station there. But the naval authorities or officials said that there was no damage to any of the military equipment or gear or anything, no sensitive information or fluids or chemicals or nuclear stuff, nothing leaked. But some of the people, I think Fox News actually, when I was out driving earlier, picking up I bought a little quad for my kid, except it's got one of those little Chinese engines on it. And yeah, there's something wrong. I'll have to figure it out. You could buy those engines for $100 on Amazon. So I may just buy a new one because it's not going anywhere. You give it gas, it doesn't do anything. It revs up high, but it's not moving. Super annoying. And of course, I just made sure it ran. I didn't, it's too small for me to sit on and break it. So I just made sure it ran before I got it and brought it home and then put the little kid on it and didn't move. But whatever. You live and learn. Anyway, so that's one of the news stories. Here's another news story. Shite. Here's another news. Come on, dude. Oh. That's the wrong button. Here's another news story that I wrote this morning. This was shout out to Tim with Keystone News who sent this tip over. He sends a lot, dude. You're awesome. Keep doing it too, because I'm back. I'm writing. We're back. We're going full force. You guys are going to be amazed at what happens. You could tell I lost my voice because the kids were loud while I was on a call, so I had to yell at them. And then I was like, "Where's my wife? What the hell is she doing?" And she was standing there playing with them too. They were just being super loud and. I was on a call, so I muted it and yelled very loud and lost my voice right away. Anyway, one county in Pennsylvania is taking a hardline approach to force its employees to get vaccinated. You either do it or you're going to be bumped to another department, or if you don't fit the qualifications for that department, guess what? You're fired. The Board of Directors for Buck County Water and Sewer Authority issued the mandate on July 6, informing union employees, keep in mind these are union employees, and their supervisors that they must get COVID vaccinations, and if they don't comply, they will be subject to bumping. According to the Board of Directors, the bumping shall be done as a matter of public safety. And they say, quote, and this is how the bumping works. The non-vaccinated member, the bumpee, will be bumped from his current job department into a position whereby he would be able to perform his regular job duties without either contact with the public or office employees or other union members. In the event that the bumpee is not trained for or cannot become qualified for the job of which he is bumped, the bumpee shall be terminated from employment at the authority. It's insane. It's insane. I did reach out to both of the unions and asked for clarification. And full disclosure, I was part of one of these unions when I was a firefighter, AFSCMA. When I was a firefighter, we were part of that union. We weren't part of IAFF because our town sucked. Anyway, and I reached out to both of them. Sent both of them emails, didn't get a comment, didn't get anything on it. And it's weird because I reached out to a lot of people on official business and not a single one of them gave me comments. Very weird, right? Like one of our stories that we're going to talk about in a little bit, Lyft, reached out to Lyft. I got an automated response saying, we'll get back to you. We know how important this is for, to meet your deadlines. And then they're like, haha, this guy's a nobody. So we're not going to reply to him. Anyway, the board then gave employees ample time to get vaccinated. 3 days. And if you don't have it done by tomorrow, the 9th, you're shit out of luck, essentially. Their corporate counsel and manager of human resources sent out an email to all employees saying roughly 2/3 of the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 835, and roughly 80% of the AFSCME union who work for the county are not vaccinated. She cautioned that those not complying with the protocol will face consequences. I mean, this is insane. Everyone said it wouldn't happen. You won't lose your jobs. They all said this stuff. Well, guess what? They all lied to you. And, it's really good that they did too, right? Because our next story, third dose, you're probably like, wait, what? What? They want to give third dose? If you're one of the people that went out and got Pfizer shots and you had your first 2 doses, guess what? Pfizer is now seeking regulatory authorization for a third dose of their COVID vaccine. It comes after initial data from an ongoing trial showed a third shot pushed antibody levels from 5 to 10 times higher against the original coronavirus strain in the Beta variant first found in South Africa compared to the first 2 doses alone, according to the statement. The companies expect to publish more definitive data soon, as well as peer-reviewed journal, and plan to submit the data to the FDA and EMA, which is the European Medicines Agency, and other regulatory authorities in the coming weeks, the statement said. In addition, the companies expect that the third dose will perform similarly well against the highly transmittable Delta strain, which is quickly becoming a global dominant, or, and the fear-mongering central. Everyone's talking about this Delta strain because it's way more contagious. It's not as deadly, or it's not deadly. Well, maybe it is the same deadly because, again, you have like a 0.0004% of, whatever. Those are, semantics, right? Who cares? Let's just everyone line up, pull up your sleeve and get the shot in your arm. You know what? You got to do it, right? Do it for America, Joe Biden says. Okay. No. Out of caution, companies are also developing a Delta-specific vaccine, the first batch of which has been manufactured by BioNTech's facility in Germany. Germany. Remember the connection I made the other day? Now they're making the vaccine in Germany, right? What's our country on the path to seem like when they say they're going door to door to check vaccination records? I'm just saying. Crazy. The companies anticipate clinical studies will begin in August, subject to regulatory approvals. The companies added that based on the drop-off in efficacy seen in Israel after 6 months, they believe that the third dose may be needed within 6 to 12 months after full vaccination, which means you wouldn't be fully vaccinated if they got to give you a third dose, right? Right? It's just, it's funny. And you know what I always just like to realize, and again, everyone calls it a vaccination. It's technically not. It's experimental drug. Those are facts. You can't have a vaccination with mRNA. It doesn't work. There are no others. But let's just skip that. The thing that's really important to remember, you know how it has this experimental drug? It's got an experimental approval. It's not approved by the FDA. It's got an experimental approval so they can experiment with it. That's what the thing. And so everyone who gets it in their arm, you're being their guinea pigs, and you're allowing them to find out, hey, guess what? Even though we gave these people two, it didn't work as well. So now we got to give them a third one. And they're finding that out from you guys, because everyone who took the vaccine, because you're all being guinea pigs for some big thing. And again, your choice, not judging. Okay? Not judging. It's fucking stupid. Oh, man. How come it didn't switch? All right. So here's an interesting story. Many of you guys may or may not know that there is I wouldn't even say assassination attempt, because they did kill him. There was an assassination of the Haitian president, Moi. I'm trying to say his name right. Lauren, our writer who's been covering this for us over and over, I think this is her fourth story on it. She was trying to help me with the pronunciation. I think it's Moi. I think she said it was Moeee is how you would say it. So what's that? Moi? Anyway, he was assassinated the other night when gunmen burst into his house, shooting and killing him, and shooting his wife as well. His wife was transported to Miami, where she underwent surgery. I believe she's still here. This took a weird turn today, boys and girls. This assassination attempt, a lot of the stuff, here comes the text messages. I'm not even going to bother checking. It's just so stupid. Stop texting me while I'm doing a show from your fake numbers. Anyway, today, there was some weird news that came out, right? Because if you followed the actual assassination plans or attempts or whatever you want to call it, they were weird, right? There was some weird stuff. It was, they were chanting that they were the DEA. They were saying it over loudspeaker in English. The other people, witnesses, also heard them speaking in Spanish. They don't speak Spanish in Haiti. That's not their native language. So it was just kind of weird, that they were giving loudspeaker commands in English, saying that they're the DEA, which is a drug enforcement agency. And then yesterday we heard there was a long, drawn-out gun battle where 4 people were killed, and then we learned today that two of these assassins were captured. Well, guess what? Our reporting is a U.S. citizen was among the suspects arrested in the assassination. Other people are reporting that they were both Americans. Isn't that weird? I'll say it again. Isn't that weird? A U.S. citizen has been charged and implicated in the assassination of another country's president. I don't care who you are. That is a massive news story. For some reason, it's only a massive news story to some. Anyway, James Solgades, a U.S. citizen, is among 6 people arrested so far in the president's killing, according to Matthias Pierre, Haiti's Minister of Elections and Inter-Party Relations. Pierre told the Washington Post that at least one other detainee is also believed to be a Haitian American, so another American citizen. So at least 2 of these people that killed a president of another country in an assassination and shot his wife were both Americans. They were chanting DEA as well. Very weird stuff. I'm not a conspiracy theorist much, but is there any ties to our government? I don't know. Biden's in office. Who knows what that guy forgot he did? Anyway, on a website for charities, So God Is started in 2019, he describes himself as a certified diplomatic agent, an advocate for children, and budding politician. The charity is meant to assist residents of the small coastal town of Jacmel in Haiti. On his bio page for the charity, he said he previously worked as a bodyguard at the Canadian Embassy in Haiti. 4 other suspects were killed by Haiti's National Police late Wednesday in a shootout with police. Authorities have not yet provided evidence of the detainees' alleged involvement in the assassination, but Pierre shared a video of the 2 suspects being apprehended and subsequently, that's a hard word for me right now, jeered by a crowd. He said the detainees were being held at a police station in the capital city and that the building had been surrounded by an angry mob. The special units are trying to protect the police station because the population is very mad and they're trying to get to him and kill him. And so there could be no investigation. I think that's probably going to end up happening. According to Pierre, they're trying to get to them to burn them alive. And he said, hey, don't worry, we're trying to avoid that. Authorities have not released the names of the other detainees, but Haitian Communications Minister Padrel Henriquez described them as foreigners. Haiti's ambassador to the U.S., Boche Edmond, and Lauren actually, she watches the show too, and she said, you're going to have a lot of fun trying to pronounce these names, and I am. It's a joyous occasion. Anyway, Haiti's ambassador to the U.S., Boche Edmond, told CNN, the Clinton News Network, that it's clear the perpetrators of the president's assassination were foreigners, but there is no doubt they had help from sources inside the country, saying indeed they were foreigners, but at the same time, we have to recognize that they also have some help, internal help, he said during an interview this morning on CNN's shitty show, The New Day. If you take the logistics, for example, the cars, to go all the way from the president's residence, I believe they had to get underground. Therefore, there is no doubt that there is some internal help, he said. He said the motivation for the president's killing remains unclear. He doesn't want to speculate on the motive because seeing as there is an investigation going on, he wants to wait until the results are in, but he's certain that the head of state cannot be killed for play. There must be a reason, and those reasons, hopefully those reasons, will be known once the investigation is concluded, he said. Crazy story, boys and girls. Crazy story. Speaking of a crazy story, here's one for you, too. 4 Illinois jail inmates escaped, and they're considered armed and dangerous. 4 inmates from the Fulton County Jail in Lewiston, Illinois, are now on the run after escaping. The daring escape, see, I added daring to our article. The daring and dashing escape was discovered late Wednesday evening after one inmate went missing from a cell block. It was later determined that 3 others were also missing. Apparently, jailers don't have to learn to count, I guess, or something. I don't know why they missed it. Deputies are asking all residents of Lewistown and surrounding communities to be on the lookout and secure the residents and vehicles of these 4 geniuses, named Jesse Davis, 35, Zachary Hart, 36, Eugene Rowitz, 23, and Cody Villabobos, 26. According to court records, Davis has been charged with possession of a weapon by a felon, unlawful possession of meth, and aggravated unlawful use of a weapon charges. In March, records also show he fled from police in Canton, was also charged with aggravated reckless driving. He had a $125,000 bond. Apparently, they didn't let these guys out. They let everybody else out. Like, you can riot, you can get out in Chicago, but no, you can't be a real criminal. Unless you're a real criminal, like the guy who shot the cops yesterday. He had felony drug selling charges that were dropped in March, but who cares? Zachary Hart is facing aggravated domestic battery, home invasion, possession of a stolen debit card, possession of a firearm by a felon, possession of a weapon with no FOID, fleeing, and eluding a police officer. Sounds like a nice guy. He's also got DWIs and stuff like that, too. Eugene Rowitz is facing charges for possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of stolen property, possession of meth, possession of ammunition, and a firearm by a felon, possession of a weapon with no FOID, possession or criminal damage to state-supported property, and aggravated battery. He was sentenced to 7 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections May 15th, was awaiting to be transferred to the prisons. And Cody Villalobos is facing charges including possession of meth, possession of drug paraphernalia, driving while license revoked, possession of a controlled substance, resisting, obstructing a peace officer, possession of a weapon by felon, failure to appear on pay order, DUI, and possession of contraband in a penal institution. He also had a bond of $36,000. So, I mean, it's fair to say that these guys are not good guys, and if you live in that area and you see any of them, call your authorities. Right. Anyway, here's another story. You guys will like this. I wrote this today. I wrote this morning, actually. A man facing nonviolent charges in Capitol riot has been banned from Lyft. Pretty crazy, right? A man who was facing trumped-up charges for his alleged role in the January 6 riots is now facing another uphill battle, this time with rideshare provider who has banned him until they, quote, review the allegations he is charged with. Micaiah Jackson, a Marine veteran, was arrested in May, charged with the same 3 misdemeanor charges stemming from protesting at the Capitol that virtually every single other protester has been charged with. The complaint does not allege any violent behavior, and Jackson was released from jail after his arraignment. While our legal system used to thrive on the premise that you were innocent until proven guilty, it seems that those days are over. Jackson recently posted a screenshot from a message with Lyft informing him that, a message from Lyft informing him that he had been banned for using their platform after they received a report alleging that you, Jackson, were part of a violent disturbance of the peace, allegedly for his involvement at the Capitol. Lyft went on to say that they have deactivated his account while they review allegations and referred him to their community guidelines, which purportedly say they do not condone or allow behavior that is violent in nature in our community. However, a screenshot of their community guidelines page does not mention any such violation. They booted him because he was a Trump supporter and he was arrested at the Capitol. Or he wasn't arrested at the Capitol, he was arrested after the Capitol. While reviewing other news articles and coverage of the riots that took place in over 200 cities in 2020, Citizen Stringer was unable to find a single reference to any other rioter charged with nonviolent charges being banned from the popular rideshare platform. We've reached out to Lyft, as I mentioned it earlier, for comment, and we'll update the article if and when a comment is provided, but they're likely not going to because they suck ass. Lyft isn't the only company taking action against the over 500 people charged with being at the Capitol riot, regardless of the adjudication or any violent charges. Payment processors like PayPal, Stripe, and Venmo have all banned people that were charged in the Capitol riots, and even some that were never even charged. Go figure. Including President Trump. Social media giants like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube have banned people and deleted the accounts of many people who were charged with crimes related to the Capitol riots, including people who were never even charged. There appear to be no standing rules in place to ban the accounts of anybody. Any of the 25,000 people that were arrested in connection to the 2020 riots that tore apart our country, caused over $2 billion worth of damage and left 25 innocent people dead and thousands of cops injured. None of those people have these kind of things. They can go on GoFundMe and raise as much money as they want because, they're leftists. Airbnb took it a step further than all the other companies, creating their own Capitol safety plan aimed at taking on people that were charged in the riot. As part of that plan, Airbnb is reportedly cross-referencing the January arrest logs of DC Metro Police Department and other law enforcement. And get this, media reports. They're actually using media reports to ban people on their platform. They're using the media reports and all the arrest records to banish people from their platform for anyone who, quote unquote, participated in the riots, i.e. was there. Doesn't even matter if you went inside. It just matters if you were there or not. Airbnb said if the individuals have an Airbnb account, we take action, which includes banning them from using Airbnb, they said in a statement earlier this year. And they made this announcement, in all fairness to the Airbnb, they made this announcement early on, January 13th, I think, shortly after the riots. But it's just another one of these stories that sucks. Speaking of stories that sucks, you know how Joe Biden's like, America's back? Remember, every day he's like, America's back. He said it several times. Well, today the new jobs report came out for last week. And guess what? We broke the expectations of America's back. With 300,777 people filing new claims for unemployment. That number continuously goes up. It rose last week as well. So stupid. The level of continuing claims, which is a measure of ongoing benefits, decreased to 3.34 million, which is down 145,000 from the previous week's revised level. Despite an uptick in the first-time applicants, the decreased number of continuing claims represented the lowest level for insured unemployment since March. Now, that doesn't mean people actually went back to work. That just means their unemployment benefits ran out, or they stopped taking the unemployment benefits. That's all that means. And because we have so many jobs that need to be filled, who actually knows? Who actually knows? The 4-week moving average for continuing claims with smooth weekly volatility fell by 44,500 to 3.44 million, which is also the lowest since March of 2020. While the pace of the firings is still above the 200,000 range we saw pre-COVID, it's actually only slightly above the average seen in the expansion in the mid-2000s, from where 03 to 08 it averaged 335,000 a week. Like, that's some good thing. So stupid. That was from Peter Bakovar, Chief Investment Officer at Beakley Advisory Group. And it goes on to say the jobless claims data came less than a week after the government published the much anticipated June 2021 report, the latest iteration of the monthly updates in the broader U.S. labor market. Although the report showed non-farm employers added a better than expected 850,000 jobs, it also revealed that U.S. unemployment rate ticked higher. Yeah, we added more jobs, but the unemployment rate ticked higher to 5.9. Now, and I got to say, in all fairness to everybody out, when Joe Biden last week, when he got up and he's like, America's back, we added 850,000 new jobs, the first president to do that, and blah, 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 blah. He left out the fact. He practiced a little bit of CNN journalistic integrity by just negating just ignoring the fact that our unemployment rate actually went up. So again, you're not adding jobs if those jobs are already lost. So it's such a stupid argument. You know how you add jobs when a company like me decides that we got to hire people, which we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. That's when you're adding jobs to the labor market. When people stop taking unemployment and go back to work, that's not adding jobs. I understand theoretically for all these analysts, that's what they consider it, but it's not. And the thing is, I want everyone that's watching this show or listening to the podcast later, I want you to know what's really going on, which is why we break it down in this way, like a really easy way for you to understand how everybody's lying to you all the time and you don't care because, you're oblivious to it. Anywho, look at that picture. It's the best flattering picture I could find of her. Jen Psaki circled back to the issue of door-to-door vaccination checks, which this story's out. It should have been with the vaccination stories earlier. Psaki walked back all the earlier allegations that they were going to have federal employees go door to door. Now she said it's not going to be federal employees at all. It's going to be your community members, your preachers, your highly respected, local people that are going to go to door. And then she also lied. She said the federal government doesn't have a database of people that have been vaccinated, which is not correct at all. I guarantee they do. They don't maintain the database. If you actually listen to what she says in the actual press conference, she says, we don't maintain a database. Well, here's the question for you. All these states that are giving away lotteries and $1 million? What state was that? Illinois or Idaho or something? Not Idaho. It was like Illinois. No, it wasn't Illinois either. I don't care. Stupid. Pennsylvania or Ohio or one of those liberal states. Anyway, one of those states decided to give away $1 million for 3 or 4 weeks to bribe people to go out and get your vaccinations, which is kind of funny because they say they don't have a database to tell whether you've been vaccinated. Well, how do they pick you out randomly if you're vaccinated? Because they have a freaking database. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand this. And she did say the federal government does not have a database. And if you listen to the 2-minute clip that's on social media, you'll hear her say that, and then you'll hear her correct herself because she said the federal government does not manage that database. They don't procure that database. It's provided by all the individual states for CDC data. So they know exactly who has and hasn't got vaccinated. They're just pretending like they don't and that they're not keeping a database. She said, we don't maintain a database along those lines and have no plans to. We do know where there are rates of vaccination across the country, and we know, as I just listed some points in the data, she said all snidely, that there are tactics that are powerful and impactful, like knocking on a door and saying, hey, are you vaccinated? How come? How come you're not? When are you going to get vaccinated? What? You want me to get off your doorstep? Why? Wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's how the calls are going to go. That's how people are going to get reacted to when you come up and knock on the door and someone's like, yeah, can I help you? And you're like, yeah, have you been vaccinated? Get the fuck off my property. That's what the conversation's going to go. But let's just, for CNN's sake, let's just be mellow. So much for I'm trying not to swear. As you can see, the graphics are a lot better. I'm trying not to swear during the show because I'm trying to, do some stuff in the long term. That's out the window already. I need a producer to beep it out when I swear because that's just who I am. I can't not do it. The White House's rhetorical pushback came from a slew of criticism as well as a letter from Arizona's Attorney General Mark Bernsoth that had strong words for the Biden proposal to go knock on doors. I, along with many Arizonians, was greatly alarmed by your White House indicating that it might be in possession of medical records revealing the contact information for Americans who have not been vaccinated, he wrote. If this is the case, this is a severe breach of privacy, and he will not tolerate such intrusions within Arizona. Which is bullshit, because any politician, and I don't know who this is, and I don't care, but any politician who wants to say that he doesn't know this, the government has, listen, the government knows when you take a poop and how many times you wipe your ass in the morning. They know everything about you. And that's the thing. It was funny, because the company I used to work for when I was in broadcasting on the transportation side, he actually posted, he posted something last night, the CEO of that company, and he's like, hey, what do you think it would be if drivers, with all the advances in tech and all that stuff, why don't, pretty soon drivers are going to be able to be like monitored, their heart rates, their physicals can be done based on all the medical, technology we have. They'll be able to tell if they're fatigued while driving and shut off trucks. He's like, pretty soon, the trucking is going to be like that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You work in the transportation sector, but you don't understand the pushback from truck drivers on e-logs. It's still going on. Truck drivers still hate e-logs. And e-logs, the only thing they're little computers that require them to be honest about the paperwork that they had to fill out. So now you don't do manual paperwork, you do paperwork on a computer that you can't cheat. And they had protests. The last May, I actually covered truck protests in D.C. It didn't get the big publicity that a good old BLM barbecue does, and when I say by that, I mean like burning down a precinct or something like that, communities, that kind of thing. It didn't get that kind of reception. Many of you guys probably didn't even know unless you've been watching my show forever. But the disconnection between some people is insane. It's like, CNN reporting the news. This guy should not be talking about what drivers will or won't do because he doesn't deal with the actual drivers. He deals with companies. I wonder when the last time he actually spoke to a driver was. And I'm not trying to pick on him, and that's why I'm not saying the name or anything. He's a super nice guy. It rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, that's the disconnect. That's why I got into this business in the first place when we were reporting on transportation logistics stuff only. It's because there was such a disconnect. People don't know the industry anymore. And now we have it with news in general. You don't even know. I talked to someone, the guy that I bought the ATV with. Shout out to you if you're watching. It doesn't run, but thanks, bud. I talked to him today, and we're talking about news, and he asked me, do you think Trump's going to take office in August? And I'm like, no, that's a Democratic, talking point. It's just them. It's their way of trying to instill fear in everybody else. Trump is not taking office in August. And let's just put that to bed now. Anyone who believes that he's taking back office or his office is going to be reclaimed or whatever you say, come on, man. In the words of Joe Biden, come on, man. Or actually, the words of Joe Biden today would have been this. And he forgot for like 5 seconds. He's like, and the first thing is... What was I talking about? You can watch that clip online too. Eventually I'll get it so I can put clips up. But right now I think I'm just going to do the rest of the show with Jen Psaki's face like that because I think it's perfect. But whatever, I'm not really going to. Let's go to the next story, huh? Oh yeah, this is a good one. Huge, massive drug bust in California. And this thing's been going on since June 8th. Authorities in Southern California have seized more than 16 tons of marijuana worth an estimated $1.19 billion. Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department officials said Wednesday the 10-day sting is the largest eradication of illegal marijuana cultivations in the history of the department. The operation, which began on June 8th, resulted in 22 felony arrests, 109 misdemeanor arrests, and 19 arrests from the water theft enforcement teams. More than 200 locations were served with search warrants, nearly 375,000 marijuana plants and 33,480 pounds of harvested marijuana were seized, along with 65 vehicles, 180 animals, and $28,000 in cash. Officials believe the international cartels are behind the illegal scale marijuana farms, which is kind of interesting because they just caught 4 verified cartel members trying to illegally cross into America. And now cartels in Mexico are starting to shoot and kill each other all over the time. There's videos on social media about it too. You can see it. It's getting worse. And now we got cartel members trying to come over illegally. We just caught 4. Imagine how many are already here. Imagine how many live right next door to you. Biden's America. Yeah. Anyway, they're talking about cartels, said Lancaster Mayor Rex Paris said at a Wednesday press conference. We're not talking about mom and pop people selling marijuana that they grew in their backyard. This is the cartels. We are very close to driving down the freeway and seeing bodies hanging from the overpasses. Wow, that's a very strong statement. Mayor Rex Paris, I like that one. That's like me right there. You just say what's on your mind, what's real. That's what's coming, he said. While California legalized recreational use of marijuana in 2018, illegal grows of the crop have been on the rise in the state. Detectives from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Narcotic Bureau identified over 500 illegal marijuana cultivations in 2021, increasing from 150 identified in 2020. Those are big numbers. Those are big numbers. Anyone want to do those numbers real quick? What's that? 333% increase? Anyway, Biden's America. I'm just going to say that for everything. Detectives found the average size per cultivation at farms increased to 15 greenhouses, up from 8 per farm in the year prior. What we want to do is send a clear and loud message to the cartels and anyone doing business in illegal operation in the high desert. Your days are over and we're coming for you, said Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanova. Yeah, I mean, all these guys, everyone they arrested is probably going to get released by their commie DA. So what's it matter? He could say, we're coming for you, and then the DA is going to be like, we'll let you go. Like, the DA doesn't, he lets everybody go. He's letting murderers go. So stupid. The illegal activity is impacting the quality of life in residents and businesses. If left unaddressed, it will have long-lasting devastation effects in a region. They called on the district attorney to prosecute those arrested in the operation because the district attorney there is kind of like the district attorney in Multnomah County and in New York City. They just don't give a shit about their job, or at least doing their job the right way. They just don't care. But, yeah, you know, whatever. Politics, right? You guys see the next story? Sorry. I'm amped tonight. This is a good show. I'm liking it so far. Hopefully you guys are. I'll read some of the chats after. If you're sending super chats, I'll try to get to you after. I appreciate it if you are. Anyway, it has been revealed that the White House has helped Hunter Biden reach deal to keep buyers of his paintings listed for up to $500,000 confidential so they could avoid ethics issues. Now, for some reason, the background image, you can't see it anymore, but the background image that I had, I don't know why it's showing watermarks. That's weird. The background image that I had was like kids' artwork because that's what his paintings look like. They're stupid. And it's funny because he's using a crack straw, the same one that he used to smoke crack. I don't know if it's the same one. That's not true. Okay, I'll give a disclaimer. But he's using a straw to make paint, to blow little paint bubbles and stuff like a little kid does. Oh, you little Hunter Biden. Missing his crack. Anyway, the White House helped broker the deal that would allow buyers of Hunter Biden's paintings to remain confidential, despite widespread concerns that it could lead to bribery and influence peddling. Not that I can't even get it out. Not that there's a history of bribery and influencing peddling with Hunter and Joe Biden. There's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. The plan will allow Hunter Biden to forge ahead with his new career as an artist, as a career change from a high-paid consultant on international deals, by also shielding him from the identities of those who purchase his pricey works. The deal came after Hunter Biden, or after the Biden administration staffers reached out to Hunter's lawyers to forge a plan intended to avoid ethics concerns and let the president's son pursue his new career. But there's still questions of how the administration and his lawyers will stop individual buyers from reaching out to Hunter or someone revealing how much one of his paintings had been purchased for. The idea is to avoid a situation he knew where he knew who was buying his work, so he might be in the position to do them a favor. Because which is really weird, because he doesn't have a history of doing that, according to CNN. There's no evidence of it, remember? Just so you guys do know, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to have a new promo for this new company that came out. It's a very cool company. And the guy, surprisingly, he looks like a lot like me, but he has a southern accent. But he has a hard drive store. So all he sells is hard drives, and it's called HunterBidensHardDrives.com. Stay tuned for that, because I've been working on that for a while. And I'm pulling out all the stops on that. Hammers and hard drives. You know? Yeah, anyway, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm making a parody commercial. It's funny as hell. Anyway, the idea, I already read that. The whole thing is really a bad idea, said ethics expert Richard Painter, who told the Washington Post, which revealed the new details of this arrangement. So instead of disclosing who is paying outrageous sums for Hunter Biden's artwork so that we could monitor whether the purchases are gaining access to the government, the White House tried to make sure we will never know who they are. This administration, this family, and they're super above board. Yeah, let's just go after Trump, though, because Trump's a bad guy, right? Yeah, right? Trump's a bad guy. Has nothing to do with Hunter Biden being a skis ball. Anyway, here's another story here. And this one was interesting. This is a fact check that the USA Today did, and someone brought it to my attention, and I was like, okay, so you may recognize some of these pictures that are on your screen right there, right? They look like protests. They look like the Capitol riot, right? No, they're not. They're the riots that took place in 2018 at the Kavanaugh hearings. Now, it's kind of interesting because this post said, no, this was not yesterday. This was a 2018 when the liberals and Democrats stormed the Capitol building and the Supreme Court building and disrupted and desecrated them over Judge Kavanaugh, or did we all forget about that? So this post was shared early in January. Now, what's kind of funny is USA Today decided to do a fact check on this back in February. And it's kind of funny because they fact check it, and then they fact check this post, what I just read to you. They fact check that as false because it's missing context. The post equating January 6th riot to the U.S. Capitol and 2018 demonstrations against the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh is missing context based on our research, because without additional information, it could be misleading. Oh, like your fact check, you shitbirds. Photos from the post authentically represent the 2018 protests, so they're confirming the photos are real. But the text leaves out key differences between the demonstrations. How? This says, it looks like you're looking at the Capitol riot, but no, this was a riot that took place in 2018 where leftists attacked the Capitol. They always say it doesn't happen, right? They said it never happened before. It's happened before and it's happened since. But everyone wants to pretend, no, the biggest thing is what, all these right-wing Trump supporters did on January 6th. They say it left out key differences between the demonstrations, including violence during the January 6th riot that resulted in the death of a U.S. Capitol police officer and a demonstrator. And then it says protesters did not, and also a claim that this was missing context because it says protesters did not enter the Supreme Court in 2018. Yeah, they didn't enter. He's right. Whoever idiot wrote this. They smashed on the door for hours of the Supreme Court. That's what they did, and it's well documented. It was covered by all the same, it was probably covered by USA Today, to be honest. If I actually look back at the hearings, in the coverage of the hearings, I bet USA Today said protesters were banging on the Supreme Court doors. And remember, AOC had to hide, she had PTSD and all that stuff from pretending that she was hiding behind a door that was getting banged on, even though she wasn't. So imagine if you really were. Imagine if she was actually behind, like, the doors of the Supreme Court when all these crazed, pink hat head wearing idiots were protesting outside the Capitol in 2018, right? So the reason why I wanted to show this to you guys, because it's very important to realize that our media and the USA Today, I called them out 2 days ago for their shoddy reporting on the Mount Laurel protests that took place when they arrested the racist dude for yelling racist shit at his neighbor. Remember? And they said the peaceful protesters. ignoring the fact that the protesters were throwing water bottles at police officers and hitting them with the flags. Very eerily similar to what happened on January 6th. But you can't call people that unless they're wearing Trump gear. And then you could say they're rioters. If they're not wearing Trump gear, guess what? They're not rioters. The only thing they are is just, people practicing the First Amendment protected right. They also say it's missing context because the Capitol was closed in 2000 or in January 6th of this year, and it was open in 2018. Remember, it was closed because of COVID. I'm not going to say it's not real, but take it as a grain of salt. Take it as a grain of salt. So stupid. That's our government, though. This is our media. So what have I shown you today? I've shown you our media is flawed. Not flawed, they lie. And they're corrupt. And I've showed you our government is flawed. They lie and they're corrupt. Like our judicial system is flawed. They lie and they're corrupt. Like what else? I mean, this is America for you, boys and girls. This is what every country aspires. You know what's amazing? Can you imagine if my show was broadcast in Spanish and played and you want to end the crisis at the border? Put my show on the air down there. So I just talk about what it's really like here in America. They won't come here anymore. They'll be like, oh no, that's worse than here. That's worse than here. They really will. Because what's going on here in this country right now is bad. It's very bad. This is the same kind of shit that happens in third world countries. Where the media, like Korea, like we're so hard on Korea all the time. We are literally Korea right now. With the way the media is a state media, the way the media, like they pander, she went out in front of Jen Psaki went out in front and it was someone's birthday today. And she's like, so I'll lead off. Who's going to sing? This is a whole press corps, dude. You got questions. Our country is falling apart and you're singing happy birthday to a member of the media. And then in the middle of her speech, she stops and goes, do you have something you want to share with the entire group because someone said something out of place? What the hell? That's the same shit Jong Kim or whatever his name is says right before he hangs you. Like, it's the same thing. So the only difference between America right now and North Korea is we're not hanging people yet. Give it time. But we're not hanging people for, speaking their minds. We're just banning them off of social media, deplatforming them off of financial, so they can't profit financially from it. Getting them fired from jobs. That's what we do. It's pretty much the same thing. It's death in one way or the other. That was morbid, but you know what I'm saying. True. Speaking of morbid and stupid, how about this shit? You guys hear about this? Black Lives Matter Utah called people who fly the American flags racist. Of course, we know. This is the American flag. You see it floating in the background of this video, too. Days after Black Lives Matter Utah chapter called the American flag a symbol of hatred, and anyone who flies it a racist on the 4th of July social media post that went viral, national backlash remains swift and relentless. So what's their response? Well, every single negative quote they get, they're apparently donating $3 to AOC's campaign. She's not even from Utah. It's so stupid. And you know what? And I was going to read the whole story, and then I decided as I was speaking right there, I don't even want to give them any airtime. Screw them. I know all about Lex Scott. She's a big fan of John Sullivan, too. Not really. They hate each other because she realized John Sullivan was a grifter. But I know all about her as well. I know all about her grifting ways. It's just sad, dude. It's just sad. But this is what America is. In the past 72 hours, there's been three, and this is not up to date now because an hour has passed and there's probably been more shootings, especially in Chicago. But in the past 72 hours, up to when I made this little infographic, 390 shootings, 138 killed, 279 people injured in the United States via gun violence. You know how many of those guns were purchased legally or possessed legally? Yeah, neither do I, but I guarantee it's less than 20%. Guarantee it. In Chicago, in the past 72 hours, there's been 34 shootings, 7 killed, and 36 people injured. That's the 72 hours. All the major news streams right now are talking about what happened over 100 shootings on July 4th, the July 4th weekend. That's over a 3-day period. Look at this. It still goes on every day. And yet Lori Lightfoot wants to get up in the public, spectrum and say, hey, guess what, guys? We don't have a problem with crime. Our crime rates are going down. Yeah, because your property crime, so your vandalism, your burglaries, those crimes are going down. You know why? Because the criminals are going out and killing people instead. Yeah, Lori Lightfoot, you rock. You're really controlling your town, you dumbass. But then again, that's just politics. Who cares? And, oh man, you know what? I forgot to upload it. I made a really nice overlay. So that was the news. Pretty smooth, right? I ran through that in 50 minutes. That's pretty good, 50 minutes. Anyway, so I made a nice little overlay for Just CBD. So, and because just like Spartan Armor, Just CBD, we have an affiliate agreement. We don't have one with Spartan Armor. They're just advertisers. They're awesome. They're essentially our corporate sponsor for the entire program, which is awesome of them. Just CBD, I have an affiliate agreement with them. If you visit justcbdstore.com and you use code Citizen20, you get 20% off the order. So I think with 20% off, this thing was like $45, and it's got, I don't know, it's got a lot. 1,000 milligrams. These are what, 10 milligrams each. So that's what, 100, right? Yeah. So it's 100 of these. I take one every single night. They help me get to sleep. They help me, if you can't tell, I'm a power lifter. I'm a big dude. They help me with muscle and joint pain. They keep me mellow. Here's the best way for me to equate to it. And I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just talking from experience. I've taken a Valium once in my life. This is like a really mellow version of a Valium, or Xanax. Xanax is what I'm trying to say. Really mellow version. Like Xanax, like I loved it, to be honest. That's why I'll never, ever take it again. I took it once to get on a plane when I flew for the first time when I was like, young. And I remember taking it and I was like, oh my God, my brain stopped. Finally, I'm able to just like relax and just think without being like boo, 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 like I am when I do the show and all that stuff. CBD does the same thing for me. It just, obviously I should take it right before I do the show, but I don't. I take it after. But it's an awesome thing. Just CBD is awesome too, because on the back of all their products, so all of their gummy products, you can't really see it. There's a little QR code right there on the back of the vape juice stuff. They have the QR code right there. You can scan that with your cell phone, and it'll actually open up the lab results for that particular batch. So you could use that if you ever need it. Again, if you're a police officer, truck driver, nurse, or anybody who gets tested as part of your job, be careful. Because I know cops, not anybody that uses Just CBD brands, but I know a couple of cops that lost their job or got suspended for taking CBD oils, not any of the gummies or anything like that. And I know truckers who said that they took CBD gummies and ended up testing positive for marijuana. And if you are familiar with the trucking industry, that means your days of driving commercially are done. So use that with a grain of salt. But please, because when you purchase from them as well, it's another way of supporting our channel. A lot of you guys have done it. We're probably one of their bigger like affiliate brands, and I don't do them much, but I knew this would be a hit. That's why I work with the affiliates. Normally we just do monthly sponsorships, but I knew it would be a hit, and it kind of works out to be the same type of money anyway. But yeah, go over to justcbdstore.com and use code Citizen20. And you'll get 20% off your order, and that's site-wide as well. All products that aren't on sale. If it's already on sale, there is no discount. But just do it and know that you're supporting our show. Let's go over to the comments real quick, see how our comments are doing over here, and then we will wrap this son of a gun up. There's a lot of comments. There was one, I think there's 2 super chats. We have Freedom Flashpoint. With a $5 super chat, and then I think someone else did a $2 super chat. This wasn't a day like last night with the super chats, but that's okay. And I don't know if anybody else is doing. If you went to citizenstringer.com/support, that's another way of supporting us, and that way big tech doesn't get anything from it, which is great. I've also decided I got to talk with Adam tomorrow, but I think I want to do a discount for. From May 15th, from July 15th to August 15th. I want to call that 30 days to honor our veterans, law enforcement, first responders, and everything, because I actually saw a post about it that was pretty interesting. Why do our veterans only get 2 days a year and other people get a whole month? So I don't know. So I think the month of July for Citizen Stringer is going to be our Veterans Month. But because we're late at it, I think I'm going to do July 15th until April 15th, where I just got to figure out the specifics. But, I'm going to do a huge discount on all of our store stuff. I'm going to do a discount on PTNN signups and all that stuff, because I just don't understand why do our veterans only get 2 days out of the year, right? And other people get entire months. I'm just saying, has anyone ever thought that? I don't know. I didn't even realize it till today. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I want to do. But yeah, if you guys want to support the show, please do so, because that's the way we're able to keep doing it. We've got some huge growth plans in the future, and we need your help to do that. You can do that via super chats, through YouTube or the Twitch bits or DLive. I don't even know how to get payments from there. Or I think we've been demonetized on DLive. Who knows? Probably. Who cares? But we have our own social media platform. We submitted it to the App Store, or we gave approval to submit it to the App Store to the developers. So we're just waiting on them to finalize that sucker and upload that. So we're thinking by the end of the month, at least the Android will be out already. The way it's going to work, let me say this once for everyone, and then you guys can clip this and put it out there. If you're a PTNN member, you don't need to do anything. You get the app for free. And it's full, every single feature on there. If you're a PTNN member, you get it for free, because what we've decided we're going to do is we're going to use the PTNN platform as our web-based OTT platform, just because it's already set up. It's better. So you're going to see some changes, you're going to see some differences in looks, but the plans are going to still be the same. The app, if you don't have a PTNN membership, then the app, it will be $5, or what is it, $5.99 a month to be able to watch the live streams. Everything else is going to be free. All the videos on demand, all the stories, all the interactions. Why? Because we want you to interact with the show. But the live streams on there are going to be the $5.99 per month, because we want you guys to get off social media. We want you to watch the first hour of a show. My show will be 2 hours at that point. Watch the first hour of a show on social media, the last hour of the show on the apps. And so you'll be able to watch it on the app, on your phone, or on Roku's, or Amazon Fire through the PTNN app. You'll be able to watch that next week as well. PTNN app is going to change as well. All of our on-demand content is going to be free for everyone to watch. All of the live streams are going to be for members only. And we're going to add stuff. I'm actually working out a deal right now to get a police series going. I'm talking with 2 other police departments because they won't do the COVID thing, or they won't let me, because I'm not going to get vaccinated. So I'm not. A lot of these departments aren't going to let me do ride-alongs with them. So I'm talking to 3 different departments right now to provide them with the technology to be able to go live, which we can control from after I had a meeting with Adam today and I was blown away by some software. I realized we can do these ride-alongs and everything just like live on patrol and remotely run the whole thing. We don't even need to be there. So I reached out to 3 departments that I've been talking to for over a year now. And I said, hey, what about this? We could set it up. We'll fly out. We'll set it up in the cruiser of choice. You'll just press a button, turn on, and then boom, we're live and we can control it, And so I think we're going to be able to do it. I think it's just going to be like Citizen Stringer ride along or something like that. We'll figure it out. But I want to do it, ride alongs with everybody. Fire, first responder, odd jobs. Like we're going to, I swear, there's so many awesome things that we are planning to do, and the technology that we have now with this app and with our upgrade, the upgrade that we did to our tech stack. Oh my goodness, you guys are in for it. I'm so happy for it, and it's gonna be amazing. But anyway, so that's what we're gonna do, and I appreciate everyone for watching. Yes, the Citizen Stringer crowdfunding is closed. It was 45 days. It is done. That's closed. All the shirts will come out. I think they do the settlement something next week. So I'm going to order all the shirts probably tomorrow because I'm on vacation, Saturday through Thursday. So tomorrow is going to be my last show for a week. So keep that in mind. I will not be doing any live shows. I'll still be writing, and I may pop in from the beach or something and do a quick live, but I'm not going to be doing any live shows after tomorrow night. I won't be doing any for a week because I'm going on to the in-laws vacation. But yeah. And what the hell was I talking about? Don't remember. It's okay. But yeah, tomorrow I'm doing a show. All the Citizen Stringer t-shirts for all the people that signed up to be a Citizen Stringer backer, those will all be sent out. I already have all the information because you put it in when you signed up. So I have all that information. One person is getting that custom-made backpack. I kind of screwed up on that because now I got to order 5 of them. So because that was the minimum, but I thought more people would sign up. So you'll get that and the shirts and all that stuff that come with it as well. So those will all come out. Also, the mystery box is for August. Those are going to come out possibly tomorrow. These ones are going to be a little bit bigger. They are not going to have anything that you've seen before. They all have all new stickers, all new drinkware. I didn't order mugs. I ordered water bottles this time. So there's all new water bottles, all new shirts. There's going to be a sweatshirt with the Citizen Stringer logo for everybody. That's just coming automatically. Those will come out tomorrow. So if you've ordered the mystery boxes in the past, I've never had any complaints. I have 2 requests. One, if you get the gift cards, send us an email or tag it on social media, whatever. Because this round of gift cards, I think we've given out now what? We've done 3 of the mystery boxes. They have 5 gift cards in each one. So 15 gift cards. We've only heard from 3 people that got gift cards. So I would prefer, even if you send us a message, we won't put your information out. I just want to make sure you're getting them and the post office isn't keeping them because, you know, they're bankrupt. You know, I'm just trying to make sure that you guys get them. So we'll have those tomorrow. And it's going to be amazing. And yeah, man. How was that? That was a good show today. I think it was. I'm pretty happy with it. Finished right on time. We'll see you later. Love you guys.